Okay, so work holding through a process. You'll notice that I've now screwed in and placed screws in holes. This hole right here, there's a track underneath, so you'll see that it lines up with this right here. So I couldn't put a screw in this hole, so I put the screws in these holes here. This I didn't put it in the vertical or in the Y direction, I put it in the X direction. Really it came down to where there were tracks or where there were other holes or other materials underneath. This will help hold the material down to the spoil board a little bit better. It'll also, like I said, when we're cutting, it will allow us for those circles not to just shoot off or pull out while we're going along, because the tool will be pulling material up away from the board, so it could potentially pick the board up, and we don't want that to happen. It's not a guarantee that these won't pull out, because this spoil board's pretty wrecked with lots of cuts in it, so these could still pop, but we're just trying to improve our chances. Okay, so we're going to finish up. So again, we've paused this, so we're going to go back. We're going to push the green button here to keep going. We're going to finish these last two holes, and now it's time to go get that other tool. So we should be getting another tool. And this tool should be our one, which should be our end mill. And the key here is we hope it doesn't hit any of these screws, because we've programmed this to be cutting the plastic, not cutting steel screw heads. All right, so here we are, we're cutting. We got a nice chip coming off. Okay, we've got a nice chip coming off. We're not cutting all the way through on one cut. We're moving along. Now we're getting all these chips here, so we may need to employ a vacuum if we get a lot of stuff and we can't start to see, or if stuff starts to get stuck in this groove right here. So we're going to want to make sure that we're paying attention to that. The other thing is we're also making sure and we're paying attention to the moves that are going to be made by the machine. Again, it's cutting this out and it's moving at about 100% here. I think it's 104 right now, set down from that 200% we were cutting. But we've got a good chip here coming off, and we're at a depth of 1/8 of an inch right now, I believe. Now we're down to a quarter. Still not all the way through this material, because this material is just over 1/4 of an inch. The last pass will be a nice finishing and cleanup pass, and then we'll be good. You'll kind of know that you're finishing when you see spoil board material coming out of the cut. That's not happening in this case, so you're not through. All right, you want to make sure that you're cutting through. Okay, again, you don't want to overload this. Okay, you don't want to overload this and get too much material in here. That's why having a vacuum, another person with a vacuum, or having the vacuum yourself going is going to make it a lot easier. But paying attention to this is pretty critical. Okay, so we can kind of see into that groove right there. We're not all the way through. This isn't moving that fast, so I'm pretty close. Still wearing safety glasses, paying attention. We're getting close to that last drop. There it is. And now you can start to see spoil board material coming through as we're cutting through and getting that last finishing pass completed on this circle. We have 6 of these to go, so I'm not going to hang in there for that long, but we'll get to the end and we'll talk about the cleanup process and what's going on from there. All right, on to the next video.